This is Orange Nation Overtime with Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Welcome, everyone, into Orange Nation Overtime alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Stephen Fonte. We made it to Wednesday. It's a game night. We're not even going to talk about the game right now. There's bigger news. John Wildhack announcing right around 1 o'clock this afternoon during our Orange Nation radio show that he is retiring from his role as SU's Director of Athletics effective July 1st. He'll stay through the end of the academic year. And as of July 1st, Syracuse will have a new athletic director. Maybe sooner. Maybe he will help with that transition of his successor. News that, kind of caught us a little bit off guard today.
I kind of feel like the people that are in it right now want out. Sports has changed, and I don't know how fun it is for people, the old timers that are used to the old ways of doing things.
And he touched on that a little bit in his interview today.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And the timing is such that, he's going out with Kent Severud. The chancellor is obviously moving on to Michigan at the end of the academic year as well. So it does seem like a natural time from the outside looking in for something like this to happen. We had John Wildhack on our show today. The announcement came out right around 1 o'clock. We had him on at 1:30. We kept him for about 20 minutes. It was a very good conversation. We're going to play it back for you right now. And we started him off by asking him when he made this decision and why he made this decision. What went into it?
Back in July, when I extended my contract, I did it for 1 year only, and I told the chancellor, I said, I just want to see and evaluate as the year progresses. This job is, it's demanding, which is fine, but I just wanted to see where I was and see if I was prepared to continue to make, the commitment that is a 7-day 52-week job. And I talked a lot about it with my family over the holidays, all three of my sons and Amy, my wife, and they were really impactful in the decision. And I came to the decision it was the right time for me to step aside. And I do so. I'm incredibly grateful and thankful for the opportunity to come back to a place that's so special to me, so special to my family. I'm blessed to have the career that I did, so I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I've been blessed, and I'm very comfortable with the decision and committed to serving out my time here to best represent Syracuse University, Syracuse athletics, and also ensure that it's a really smooth transition to my successor.
John, some will question the timing, obviously, with the chancellor leaving as well and moving on to Michigan. Did his decision to leave factor into your decision at all? Some will ask, was he asked to leave? Can you, clear that up, clarify that? Was this completely your decision, and was it independent of Chancellor Severud?
It was my decision, so let me be very definitive about that. It was my decision. Chancellor Severud's been incredibly supportive of me for the last 9.5 years since I joined Syracuse athletics. He is still the chancellor and committed to Syracuse University to July 1. I'm still the athletic director. I'm committed to Syracuse University until July 1. There's still, a lot of work to be done. I just met with my senior team, and I said, I know at times I can be challenging to work with, and I'll probably be even more challenging to work with over the next 4.5 months to make sure that when I do depart, that we're best positioned to have the success that all of us, when I say all of us, then that's our fans, our alumni, Orange Nation around the country, that we're positioned to have the success that we all covet.
Is there a timeline in place, John, for when the next AD will step in?
That'll be up to the board, Paulie. And again, my job, my role is to do everything I can to make it a really smooth transition. And I think good leaders, I think really good leaders, one of the things they do is when they leave is they do everything they can to ensure that their successor comes in and comes in a very strong position in an entity that is well positioned. And I intend to do that.
Some will ask, if you will still be making the decisions until July 1st inside that athletic department, and if you are still willing to make hard decisions inside that athletic department up until July 1st. What does that look like? Because, as we all know, you've got some decisions to make about the future of certain programs and whatnot. How will that look over the course of the last several months? Are those decisions up to you? Is it going to be a collective decision? How does that work?
The decisions, again, I'm here until July 1, so I'll make, the necessary decisions that we need to make. And as I've always done, I'll do so in conjunction with consultation with the chancellor, with all the other leaders across campus. Trustees is relevant, and none of that will change.
John, how would you say, what is your take on this year's basketball season?
Paulie, listen, we've not had the success that we all want. Let's be honest and be real about it. And, I said back last spring in terms of what the expectations were for this year. Those haven't changed. It's been frustrating because there were games that we clearly could have won that we didn't. We still have a month to go, but our margin for error is incredibly small right now. So I think everybody is disappointed with our record to date.
And I guess along those lines, to follow up on that, the fact that you are stepping down, will that in any way prohibit you from making a change if you feel like a change is necessary?
No.
Okay. And listen, we're going to ask you a few questions here that if you can't answer, I get it, but we got to ask the questions. So
I respect that, Steve and Paul.
Well, and we've always been transparent with each other, Johnson, and I appreciate that out of you as well. I feel like I can ask anything, and I don't know how much you could say or what you're willing to say, but here we go. Have you made a decision right now, as of today? Have you made a decision on Adrian Autry's future as head coach of the basketball program?
No.
Okay. Have you had conversations with him recently about his future? And is there anything you can share about, the message, I guess, that's been said one way or the other?
Yeah, I met with Adrian a couple times and just, again, have reiterated what the expectations were for this season. And it's my job to continue to support him, to support the team as they play out this season and prepare for the ACC tournament. But, yeah, we've spoken.
John, what would constitute a meaningful game in March at this point of the season?
Paulie, I think you want to be in a position where, if you're not a lock for the tournament, you're certainly, if you have a really good run in the ACC tournament, you could be a bubble team, right? You could be in the conversation.
Hypothetically speaking, let's assume he's not back just for the sake of this question. Will you have a hand in terms of selecting the next head coach or at least a part of that process if he is not here?
Yeah, I don't want to, Steve, I appreciate it. I don't want to get into hypotheticals, right? We still got games to play, the ACC tournament to play, and let's see what plays out over the next month.
Okay, I'm going to ask one more hypothetical, and if you don't want to answer, don't answer it. But could you foresee any chance of announcing something prior to, let's say, the ACC tournament? Or will one way, because you're going to have to address it one way or the other, right? You either have to say he's back or he's not back. Can you envision a scenario in announcing it prior to the last game of the season, whenever that is, whether it's the regular season or at the ACC tournament, or are you going to wait until they play their last game this year before you make an announcement?
I owe it to Adrian and everyone on that staff to let them play out the entire season. And there's a big difference because some will say, well, in football, you make changes in season. Well, when I made the change with Dino, it was right before the portal opened. So we had to move, and we had to move quick. College basketball is different, and you have the ACC tournament, and the portal period is different. It opens in April after the NCAA men's basketball tournament. So to try to compare basketball and football, that's not an apples to apples comparison. And you see it's very, very rare that there's an in-season change in college basketball.
John, I get killed for talking about this by our listeners all the time, and I don't know how detailed you can be, but where does Syracuse fall in the NIL rankings of the ACC when it comes to basketball? And I'm not making excuses for losses to Hofstra and other teams like that, but where would you say Syracuse ranks amongst the ACC basketball program?
Yeah, I think, Paulie, there's no definitive data that's out there, which I wish there was, because then you could look at true comparisons as opposed to what is reported, and reported anonymously or reported, there is no data. From the intel that I've been able to gather, we are clearly in the top half with what we do from a rev share and NIL perspective.
We had John recently, John, and we talked a lot of big picture topics. And Paulie brings up NIL, and that's a key piece of college athletics these days. Do you feel like college sports are broken right now? And if so, how do you go about fixing it? And if you were in charge for, a day or two, what would you do to try and fix college sports and make it an even playing field?
Yeah, Steve, it's a good question. It's not broken, but it's in need of significant repair. And, with the player movement you have now, you have kids that are playing 4 schools, 5 different years. You got guys that are, suing the NCAA for eligibility, trying to get a 7th year and 8th years, whatever, that type of thing. You got guys coming in who've, signed NBA contracts who are trying to get back in and play, or G League or what have you. So, the system is in need of significant repair. And I think eligibility is number one. I think that's critically important, is to really define that. And then secondly is the transfer portal is when basically, let's call it what it is. It's free agency. It's not the transfer portal. There's a free agency period every single year. And in my opinion, what would be best, I think every athlete should get a one-time transfer where, Paulie, if you go to school X, and after the first year, it's not great, you want to go to school Y, as long as you're eligible, you should be able to do that. If you want to transfer a second time, you've got to sit out for a year unless your coach at your current school has left. But all this is this has become a transactional business. And I don't think that's healthy for the athletes. I think in some ways it candidly makes a mockery of the educational system and component. And it's not healthy long term for college sports. And you're going to need some help to do that. And whether that help is through collective bargaining, which I've said publicly, I think we should explore, or through that some help in Congress in terms of some limited antitrust exemption to the NCAA to do some things. We need some systems and procedures in place. We need the College Sports Commission to be effective. Those who don't abide by the rules of the CSC settlement need to be punished. There needs to be consequences. Without any consequences, who's going to abide by the rules?
Yeah, and along those lines, you look at women's basketball, and they upgraded their roster in the offseason, and men's basketball upgraded the roster in the offseason. And Fran Brown, and what he's done through 2 years, has upgraded the talent level here. Is it sustainable, the current model in college sports, is it sustainable for a university like Syracuse to be able to compete year in and year out with the current model?
I'm not sure it's sustainable for more than a handful of schools.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 hands, but that's it.
Yeah. All right, John. I know
it's frustrating, guys, and I'll tell you that was one of the factors in my decision, because I don't see any solutions, in the next 6 months or 12 months, and when you kind of beat your head against the wall every day and you're trying to figure out, all right, how do you navigate this world? If we had systems in place where it created a degree of competitive equity, the bigger brands are always going to have an advantage. It's like the NFL. Right? It's like the NBA, it's like MLB, or bigger brands have an inherent advantage, right? But if you create some degree of competitive equity, that you have hard and fast rules, that if you don't follow those rules, there are significant consequences. If you had a system like that, as popular as college sports is today, I believe it would be even more popular and more valuable.
John, we've got a couple minutes left here, and I just want to kind of circle back, if we could, on your career and your time here. You come here after 36 years at ESPN. You had never been an athletic director. I don't know at the time if you knew 100% what you were in for, but as you look back on these last 10 years, would you do it again? And as you look back, I guess what are you most proud of from your time here?
Yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat. Because I love this place. The best part is to see the success, the academic success and the competitive success of our teams and our young men and young women. We have 550 student athletes here. They bleed orange. They represent this community. They represent this university incredibly well. Academically, we're performing at all-time highs. Our graduation success rate's 94%. That's top 5 in the country. Our GPA, cumulative GPA for the fall, 550 athletes was a 3.3. So I'm really proud of the academic success of our student athletes. I'm proud of the competitive success we've had in a wide variety of sports. I'm proud that we're better connected with our alumni, our former student athletes, than we have before. When I got here, the only jerseys that were honored were football and men's basketball. Now I've spread it across a variety of our sports. We have 9 women whose jersey has been retired at Syracuse University, and long overdue. And we've got, men's lacrosse, the greatest program in the country. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of what we've done from a facility perspective. What we've done with the Dome, what we've done with the Lally Athletics Complex. And when I say we, guys, let me emphasize, it's we. It's not I, it's we. It takes, it's a team effort across campus, across athletics to achieve those. But, the Ring of Honor, right? We established the Ring of Honor, and we're going to induct Coach Desko, the Virginia game. I think it's April 11th. And he's incredibly deserving and worthy of joining the others that we've inducted the Ring of Honor. What we did last Sunday with Catherine Switzer, the first woman to officially run the Boston Marathon, to recognize her and hang a banner in the Dome to honor Catherine. I'm proud of what we've done across all 20 of our sports, but most important, I'm really proud of the thousands of athletes in the 10 years that have come through these hallways, and I'm really, the connections that you establish and some of the connections that you maintain with now who are some of our former student athletes, right? Whether it's a guy like Zaire Franklin or LaQuinn Allen or Kristen Siermacheski, women's hockey. It's just unbelievable to be around young people like that has been incredibly inspiring to me, and I'm incredibly fortunate to have had that opportunity.
How about the other side of this, John? Any regrets you've had since you've been here?
Paulie, you always want to win more. Yep, naturally. But no, again, I'm full of gratitude and thanks, and that goes to all of our fans too. Our fans have been great. They've been very welcoming. They've been supportive. Our fans travel. They're passionate about all 20 of our sports. I appreciate that. So I'm thankful. I'm grateful to our fans. I'm grateful to our alumni around the world. Grateful to our athletes, our staff, the university staff. I've been blessed. I'm incredibly fortunate.
And that's where I was going last, John, as we wrap this up. If you had a message to the fans and about the future of Syracuse athletics, I know this place means an awful lot to you. You went here, and even when you were working at ESPN, Syracuse University was very close to you and your family. So many of your family members have gone here to Syracuse University. Do you have any message about your alma mater as you step down from this position effective July 1st?
I'm really excited about the future, and I just told our senior team in athletics that one of the reasons, because I'm excited about the future of this community in this area in Central New York with Micron and what Micron is going to generate from this area and the spin-off businesses and industries that are going to relocate or set up shop in Central New York, right, to provide the supply chain to Micron, it's going to be transformative. And I think that's going to be great for Syracuse University. I think it's going to be great for Syracuse athletics. It's going to be great to the Central New York community. So I am really bullish on the potential of Syracuse athletics and the greater Syracuse, New York community.
So there you go. John Wildhack will be stepping down as his role as athletic director effective July 1st. Anything stand out to you from that interview today?
No, I think you got all the answers you expected. I was wrong about NIL, apparently. I thought they were 9th to 11th, but apparently they're 8th or above.
Right, upper half. I mean, it could still be 7th or 8th, right? Yeah. I don't know how far off you were, but, and that's part of the problem with NIL right now. There's not a lot of clarity. There's not a ton of clarity. I think, you'd like to think that they're in the upper half, and John seems confident that they are in the upper half, but are they in the bottom half of the upper half, if that makes any sense? NIL is a key component, and I think that, whoever the next head basketball coach is, whenever that happens, whether it's next year or after that, NIL is going to be a key factor, and that's not going away anytime soon. Basketball and football in particular, it's a key factor in determining your success.
Yep, and it is kind of an interesting job opening too. Like I don't know where it fits on. We have it's the 6th best job of the ACC. Where does it fall for the AD?
It's a great question. I mean, it's a prestigious university, right? And a great tradition, great history. And if you can get that NIL component right, the academics are in line, the tradition, the history, all that's there, the facilities, you could have a lot of success. So I would have to think that it's a very attractive position, and the search begins to find the new athletic director. We should mention there is a game tonight inside the Dome. Syracuse getting set to take on Chris Bell and the Cal Bears at 7 o'clock, which is why you're not wearing a hat today and you're all dressed up. You look nice.
I know. I knew this interview was coming. It was leaked to me prior.
You had the script. Yeah. Anything else, Paulie, before we move on?
I don't think we need any nonsense today.
It was a good day on the show. We had Rick Beardsley on the show as well, and then of course that John Wildhack interview. Enjoy the game tonight, everybody. 7 o'clock start. We will talk about it tomorrow. Win or lose, the good, bad, and the ugly. We will discuss it tomorrow at 12 o'clock on the Orange Nation radio show. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate you listening. For Paulie, I'm Steve. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, everybody.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.